Hello and welcome to the McTaggart Attack podcast. I'm Kevin McTaggart, and this is the sixth and final episode of my mini-series of WTF GoT. The sixth and final episode of the six-part series. WTF GoT stands for what the fuck Game of Thrones? It's something I always find myself uttering while watching Game of Thrones at some point during the season. And there have certainly been those moments this season. Like last episode 5, when Daenerys burned down all of King's Landing with one dragon. But this episode, I'm going to talk about tonight's episode. The episode that happened last night was the series finale of Game of Thrones. The last one ever. Unless, of course, they make a movie, or unless, of course, those prequels or spin-offs that are going to be happening. Who knows? But yeah, it was the last one ever. It was called the Iron Throne, in reference to the throne that everyone was hoping to get a piece of, to be able to sit on. Funny story. A couple years ago, whatever season it was, when the Red Wedding episode was on. I think it was season 3, may have been season 3. Before I could even watch the Red Wedding episode, the power went out for hours, and I missed Game of Thrones that night. I missed it, and it was, as I said, the Red Wedding episode. So yesterday, I'm looking at the radar, I see the weather forecast, and I'm like, oh crap. There's thunderstorm and lightning warnings, and I'm thinking, am I going to be able to watch the series finale of Game of Thrones? And, well, let me just tell you, our satellite dish connection went out just as, the countdown. There was a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. Once it hit 1, we lost our connection. And I couldn't watch. I missed the first 15 minutes of the episode. So I had to rewatch it at 11:30 when it re-aired. But I did watch the entire episode, albeit piecemeal. And my overall reaction was, as of right now, is I liked the episode. I thought it was great. I know it didn't go the way that a lot of people didn't expected it to, but I went into it with no expectations. I went into it with, let me just watch it, and let me just experience it, and see how I react to it. And I loved every minute of it. I loved Daenerys' speech to her army, the victory speech, if you will. I love the image of her when she got off the dragon and you just see the wings behind her. That was a very cool picture, scene there as she's preparing to give the victory speech. I loved how, this was sad. When Tyrion went to go find Jaime and Cersei's bodies, and how mad he got. I don't think I'd seen him that angry throughout the entire series. The character development that he's gone through this entire series. The imp who didn't give a shit to where he was now hand of the queen. I loved when he mouthed off to her. He's like, yes, yes, I freed my brother. And you burned an entire city to the ground. And then he threw down his hand of the queen pin and she put him in jail. She locked him away. I thought all that was great. And I love how Arya just shows up next to Jon Snow out of nowhere. Where have you been? Just around. My God, that was pretty good. The dialogue between Tyrion and Jon Snow, when Tyrion pretty much convinced Jon to do something about Daenerys. Everyone had told him, like Varys, Sansa, Arya tried it just before he went to go talk to Tyrion. It was just a culmination of things. He had to do what he had to do. So he did the move of making out with her and then stabbed her in the heart. I found it very interesting that like the dragon, that Drogon, whatever if you pronounce his name, didn't like incinerate Jon Snow. The dragon just melted down the Iron Throne, which I thought was awesome and symbolic. It's like he wasn't mad at Jon Snow. He was angry at the Iron Throne. Or maybe it was sort of like if my mother is not going to be queen, if my mother's not going to be able to sit on that throne, then nobody is. And then Jon Snow is locked up. It flash forwards, I think, 3 weeks later, where, Tyrion is brought to that council of all the people who represented all of the 7 kingdoms. And Tyrion gave a great speech to have Bran be the king. I had heard there was some sort of theory out there that Bran was going to end up being the king. And I was like, huh? Why? That doesn't make sense. I guess that would be okay. And then, well, it happened, and I'm like, all right. All you had to do was have Tyrion give an emphatic speech, and I was all in on Bran being the king. And then I loved how he asked Tyrion to be his hand. He said, I don't want to be the hand. I don't want to be the king. So that was great. And then Sansa, making the North independent once again, being the one to do it. Man, has she grown over the years. To being that annoying bitch in the first season to being so damn powerful and confident in her skills and things like that. But of course, I do like how everybody ended up where they were supposed to be. Sansa was in charge of Winterfell. Jon was back in the north. And it looks like he's going even further north. Arya is just going off and living her life. She's not, concerned with vengeance anymore. She was. But I think that's part of her growth as a character. She went from being someone who thought, needed to go and kill everyone who's wronged her. She had her list. But the Hound has to be one of the best characters in Game of Thrones history, I think. The Hound was great. I do like how Sam Charlie was suggesting democracy, and then everybody just laughed at him. But I do like what they're doing while deciding to have that council, those people, select the new king. They decide that it's not hereditary anymore, which is good. I liked that's what happened in this episode. Because it was always, oh, what clan are you? What family are you supporting? Blah, 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 blah. But now it's not that anymore. The wheel's been broken. What Daenerys wanted in the first place. Or did she? Because she never really said that she wanted to do that. Or maybe she did. Yeah. Now let's get to what's pissing me off about all of this. Like, the whole thing with everybody shocked by Daenerys' turn. This has been a thing that's been going on throughout the entire series. What will happen when she gets to King's Landing? What will she do? All she's done is use her dragons to destroy her enemies. The entire show has been about that. So when people are upset that she did that to King's Landing, you obviously haven't watched the show before this season. I mean, oh my God. I think that's what it's got to be. Like, how can you be shocked? How can you be upset about what she did last week? You can't. I mean, you can, but you shouldn't. She did everything that she's usually done. She gave them a chance. She gave Cersei a chance. And Cersei killed her dragon. And Missandei. And what were Missandei's last words? Dracarys. Meaning, burn this motherfucking city to the ground. And that's what she did. I did like when there was the meeting, when that meeting of the Hand had the meeting with the other people in charge of everything, and I love how it was Bronn, how it was Brienne of Tarth and Sir Davos and Sam Charlie. I love how it was all those people. Like, that's what the entire show was building up to. And how Tyrion, felt like he was he did the right thing. Because he saw the error of his ways. He saw that Daenerys had to be stopped. And he had to convince Jon to stop her. But people thought this episode was lame. Oh my God. Why? Because there wasn't enough killing in it? Was there not enough violence in this show, in this episode last night, that wasn't enough for you? There wasn't enough goddamn violence in this show? God forbid they talked for most of it. God forbid that happens. I did like that Jon and his dire wolf got back together. That was cool. People were upset about that. But hey, they knew what they were doing. They explained everything. And I don't care if there was a plastic water bottle. I don't care if there was a picture of Jaime using his real hand. I don't care. I don't care if there was a Starbucks cup. Just enjoy the stuff. If all you're going to do is fucking criticize it, then why the fuck are you watching it? You should watch a show because you enjoy watching the show. Unless you want to just criticize it. If you want to go your life just criticizing everything, then your life's going to suck. Your life will be full of nothing but negativity, and pain. If all you do is criticize things all the goddamn time. If all you do is just give your opinion and a bad opinion about how something sucks, your life will suck too. But overall, I did like the show. I thought the series finale was good. It was not the best series finale. It wasn't the worst series finale, that's for sure. I liked how everything ended up. And I have no problem with how it happened. I prided myself on not trying to predict what was going to happen. Because I know when I try to predict things, I get upset when they don't go the way that I think that they should go. I prided myself in just watching it and enjoying it. You know, like, even with this series finale episode, I was just gonna, like, watch it. I wasn't trying to think, oh, this has to happen. Oh, Arya has to kill Daenerys. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Why didn't that happen? It should have happened like that. Stop it. It's a television show. It's just meant for you to sit there, watch, and enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, don't watch it. It was really infuriating to me last week when somebody talked about how the last 2 seasons have been shit. Then why have you watched the last 2 seasons at all? I mean, I regret. One of my million of regrets in life was sticking around to watch all of True Blood. The last 2 or 3 seasons of True Blood absolutely sucked. I felt like they jumped the shark when all the vampires got drunk one night and went partying in New Orleans. This was after Christopher Maloney got killed. You know, it was just so stupid, and it turned me off from the show. But I kept watching it. I wanted to keep watching it. Why? Because I wanted to finish it. But I could have done so many other things instead of watching this stupid show on a Sunday night. I need to do that more often. And I am doing that more often. If I had thought Game of Thrones sucked, I wouldn't be watching it. But I've loved every season of this show. It's been great. And last night's episode was great. This whole season has been great. This whole show has been great. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. And I love it so much. And it's been such an honor for me to do this. Give my thoughts on all 6 episodes of this final season of Game of Thrones. So thank you very much for listening. I've been Kevin McTaggart. Or I still am Kevin McTaggart. If you want to contact me for my opinion, to talk to me about my opinions on this, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at KevMcT. There's a Facebook page for the McTaggart Attack podcast. There's also I'm on Twitter. I said that at KevMcT. The email address is McTaggartAttack@gmail.com. So, once again, thank you so much for listening. If you like it so much, tell your friends. Download all my other episodes and see what you like or what you don't like. Give me some constructive criticism. I'm all for that. And that's the bottom line. If you smell what the McTaggart Attack podcast is cooking. What the fuck, Game of Thrones?